Hey guys, me again, and today we have quite the item in for repair, and that would be this Akai reel-to-reel machine. This is a Akai GX-625, as you can see right there. And basically, the issue with this is the playback doesn't quite work like it's supposed to. So basically, these are 7.5-inch reels. The biggest that this can go to is 10.5, if I'm not mistaken. So like the really big ones, but these are the smaller ones. So this supports 7.5 and 10.5, but we have 7.5 on this machine. But basically, the issue of this machine is the playback on the right channel doesn't work. It's this one, because this one works. So when you try to play this in stereo, basically it doesn't work. It's you have to depress one of these switches in order to make it work. So we have to troubleshoot why it's not playing in stereo. It could be an issue of just a stupid capacitor, something as stupid as that. So we have to dig into it, and we have to see. Right now what I'm doing is this is a tape that the customer provided me with. It's a stupid tape. It doesn't have anything on it. It's just a little recording of a radio station. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this tape, and I'm going to record onto the tape a 440 hertz signal, so that I can track some stuff down easier with my oscilloscope, because I'm thinking I'm gonna need my oscilloscope right there, or my Hitachi, one of these two, to poke around the circuit and see where I'm losing my signal. But yeah, so basically I'm just letting this run for a bit because my customer recorded a stupid whatever radio station on here. So I'm gonna record maybe a 10-minute clip of that 440 hertz signal. I'm gonna inject it with my phone, and we're gonna see if we can solve the issue with this playback. So I have it both set left and right. It's in record mode because, again, I'm erasing the tape. So to erase the tape, you have to put it in record mode. So that's simply, you just have to hold the record button, and you hit the play button, and this is what it does. So I'm erasing the tape by putting nothing on it, essentially. And I'm gonna put instead my 440 hertz signal. So everything is working with this machine. It's just that problem. So we're gonna see if we can arrange this for the customer and get this working for him. So yeah, let me go ahead and record that 440 hertz signal on this tape, and we're gonna go around the back and show you what's going on in the back. Okay, so we're back. Now you can see we flip the machine around. The tape, I have recorded the 440 hertz signal. So now what we're gonna do is we're basically, the issue, I'm believing it's on this board. So I'll explain just quickly how the layout of this machine is, how everything works. So this is the Pre-Amplifier / playback board on the bottom. This is where there's inputs for your tape deck and other things behind there. This is the power supply board in the middle. Also at the same time, there's a couple other different circuits. There's a timing circuit, there's a counter, a bunch of other circuits also at the same time on this middle board here. I'll get my flashlight, you can probably see better inside. So all that nice mess underneath, that's the power supply board. So all that stuff there. And then we have at the top, this is part of the power supply. The transformer is right behind here, actually. The big whatever step down transformer. And then we have some, this is for one of the heads, or not one of the heads, sorry, for the capstan motors. I forgot exactly what this is, but I think it might be the driver, this little board here. And I think there's another board behind here, so, but the issue thankfully is not up here, because if it was up here, it would have been a lot more difficult to get to to get to it, you know, if wherever the problem may be. But thankfully the problem is on the bottom. And when we go and actually repair whatever defective component that's here, if I'm lucky, I can do it from here. If not, I'll have to flip the machine over and access it from the bottom. This comes off, this is plastic, and I have access to the board underneath. So over here, actually, I thought I'd show you. So this is the service manual for this tape machine. And what I'm going to be doing is basically, I'm going to be looking at the side. I'm going to be comparing both sides. This is the left and the right. This is the playback head. So the issue is, I don't think the issue is with the recording head, it's with the playback head. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the left channel, which is the top here, and we're going to see where we lose our signal. If we do even lose our signal, it might be something else, but we're going to start by looking at the playback circuit over here. So this side supposedly works. This right hand side works. It's the left hand side that doesn't work. Sorry, the right hand side doesn't work, the left hand side works. So we're gonna be, or no, what am I saying? Sorry, I'm mixing up my words. The right hand side over here is working. It's the left hand side that's not working. So we're gonna trace with our signal, with the 440 hertz signal that I recorded on the tape, and using my oscilloscope, we're gonna see where we lose our signal, and we're gonna take some measurements as well, and see, okay, we have our signal there, we're missing it there, you know. So let's go ahead and start by plugging our probes, and once I start finding things, I'm gonna come back and show you what I see on the scope display. How does that sound? Let's get started. Okay, so I thought I'd update you guys with maybe something that I found. So again, just backtracking certain things. I'm over here, and I confirmed that the play head, there is something. So the playback head for both sides is working. So if I go to here, C49, and the way Akai has it actually is they match the parts on the board. So it's C49 here and it's C49 here. So it's going to appear twice on the board, and I'll show you what I mean. So what I'm doing is I'm up to here. I'm testing up to here with my oscilloscope. It's on, and I'm going to show you what I see. So there's two transistors in the back over there. Not transistors, sorry, there's two caps that I'm going to put my probe on. You're going to see which ones. So this side is the working side. This is the right-hand side. And then this is the side that's not working. So something on this side over here is not working like it should. So I'm going to take my probe from my scope. I'm going to probe the cap over here. That's C49. And as you can see, this is our 440 signal. And our heads are playing. That's our 440 signal. And now if I go on to the other one, the other C49 for the other channel, and if I put my probe down in there, yeah, it's in there, all right? You can't see from my arm, but it's in there, all right? Nothing. So the problem is going to be on this side. And I have to backtrack from C49 over here to the left to see which part is not working like it's supposed to. Next part I'm going to test is I'm going to see C46, and we're going to see if maybe we have an open resistor or something. I don't know. Could be a capacitor, but we're going to have to check. So I'm going to look at C46 now, and we're going to see if we can find which component is faulty. But for sure we're on the right track, so we have to look this way. Something here is not ticking like it's supposed to, so we'll keep digging, and when I find something new, I'll come back. I thought I would provide you guys with an update, another one. So I've been actually messing around with my multimeter now a bit. So I'm trying to pinpoint exactly where the issue is. So I was losing my signal with my oscilloscope, but I think the scope might not help us here. So I know it's this side for sure that's not working. But let me show you some measurements that I'm taking. So we should be getting about 18.5, which comes to here eventually, and we should be getting that. And I'm going to show you on both sides that's working. So that's on R63. Give it a second. There you go. 18.5, and that's on the defective side. And on the good side, we were going to get that as well. 18.52. So these two MOSFETs here are supplying the power that they're supposed to. So these two are okay. But now watch what happens when, for example, I measure across R63 on the defective side. Watch what I read. I should be reading somewhere close to 8.9, 3.89. That's on the defective side. If I go on the working side, it's a bit low to what it's written, but it's still higher than the other side, 5.49. And so this is the issue I'm dealing with. I'm trying to find which component is causing this level to go down. If it's a capacitor, I know the resistor, it can be a resistor issue. Resistors don't short. If anything, they go open. So, and I don't think it's a resistor issue. I think it might be either a transistor issue or a capacitor issue. So I'm trying to pinpoint which capacitor might be the culprit. But that's going to be, it's not easy. And I was measuring the voltages on each of the transistors. So for example, I read 3-something volts there. So that's going to be on the collector, which is the middle pin. I read 3-something volts there. 3.89, that's the middle pin. That's the collector. And if I go on the base, which is the first pin, I should be reading 3-something. And I am. I'm reading 3.3. This is the base, 3.2, and I'm reading 3.8. Might have found my issue. So I'm reading 3.8 there, and on the collector I'm reading 3.89. That's very close. And on the last pin, which is the emitter, again 3.89. Measuring so on this transistor I'm measuring 3.8, 3.8, 3.8. I have to take a couple more measurements. So if there's something that's shorting or something that's not, obviously it's not working like it's supposed to. So I'm just gonna keep measuring, and I'm gonna come back if I find something else that's new. Okay, guys. So it's been a couple of minutes, and it has been a couple of minutes actually. So it's the next 2 days later, or next day later, or whatever you want to call it. So basically, I was doing a lot of troubleshooting to try to figure out why this guy would not produce sound on the left channel. So the right channel was okay. It was the left channel that didn't seem to work like it should. It's the right channel was working. It was the left that was not working. So if you just look in the front, the track selector, now I have both of them up, but left, right, the left one was not working. The right channel was the only one that was working. It would only play in mono for the right channel. Left channel, there was nothing at all. So as I was saying in the last clip, if I'm not mistaken, I was probing around and I was checking, and I was also on using my scope. I was trying to find where I was losing my my audio. So basically, this is the schematic for the preamplifier section. So the playback head, which is here, there's left, right. So these two sides up to here, I was getting, I don't think I showed it, but I was checking with my oscilloscope. At these 2 points, I was getting my 440 hertz signal. It was very faint because it's not even going through the it's before the first stage, so it's very, very low. But I was getting my 440 hertz, and I was seeing that on my oscilloscope. So, and for those that maybe have lost track, the tape that's on here right now, I recorded it. I put a 440 hertz tone on there, a sinusoidal wave on there, so that I can do these tests. So I was getting my 440 hertz here right before the first stage. Now if I go to near the back, I was getting my 440 here, or I should say here, yeah. I was getting my 440 here at C49, and I wasn't getting it there. So I knew the playback head was working, and I didn't think this was an issue anyways, because I've heard that some people have issues with this head, but this head was okay for me. Basically it's 2 coils, and you know, the playback head that plays from the tape, so those were okay. And then yeah, so I was getting my 440 hertz here, and I was not getting it here. So then I was looking through the circuit, and I was studying this a bit, and I was checking at different points. So I checked over here if I had it or not. So I didn't have it here, so I went further back. I checked even at if I followed the audio path, even here before TR10, I checked here, nothing at all. And even further back, I checked right here at TR9, nothing at all, right there. So I was like, what could be the issue? And I basically ruled out any of the resistors. Those were okay, so none of the resistors were open for whatever by any means necessary. I even actually went ahead and I checked all the electrolytics with my ESR meter. They all tested okay. There was maybe 1 or 2 that were a bit high, but they were still in spec, so it could not have been the issue. And then the only thing left was the transistors. And so this is what happened after all that troubleshooting. I basically decided to take some measurements off these transistors. So first stage and second stage, whatever. I decided to take some voltage measurements, and this is what you see now on the screen. So these are the measurements for the working channel, and these are the measurements for the broken channel. You might notice right away for this guy here, the collector I read 3 volts, and the collector here reads 8.1. So I was like, we might have some bad transistors. And then I was looking at the other ones, and I was like, yeah, you know, some of the numbers, especially with analog stuff, it's not going to be exactly the same. But like, for example, this guy here, this is okay. There's a little bit of a discrepancy, but these measurements are okay. So now I was looking at these other 3 transistors, and then I was comparing the measurements, like especially this guy right here. The emitter, I was reading not even 100 millivolts, I was reading 62 millivolts. And then this guy was reading close to 300. So I was like, we might have a bad transistor here, we might have a bad transistor here, and even this one actually, you know. So I was looking and I was comparing, and I was like, yeah, it doesn't look too good, you know. Yeah, even the same thing here, 257, and this is 164, so 257 millivolts, 164 millivolts. So what I ended up doing was I pulled the 3 transistors out, because I was thinking more than likely it looks like the issue was with transistors all along, and that was my sneaking suspicion in the very beginning also. So I went ahead and I replaced these 3 transistors with some KSC-1845 transistors. You might not be able to see that on camera. See if I can focus that for you on the camera. Yeah, there you go. KSC-1845. So these are substitutes for these 3 transistors. These 3 transistors, the original part number is 2SC458. The LG, you can disregard it, but the D, actually, that's important, because the D does, in this case, the D designates the current gain. So not the current gain, the amplification gain. So on the data sheet, D resembles a gain between 300 and 500. So if any of these transistors do not match that gain, obviously you're not going to have any sound at all. Basically, it's going to be the playback head sending the audio signal to the first stage of the transistor of the preamplifier, and if the gain is not there, you're not going to get anything on any of the subsequent stages, you know. So basically what I did was I pulled the three of them out, because I tested these guys here. They look pretty good in terms of measurements, so I didn't bother with this guy. This is a 2SC945, so I didn't bother. I left it in place, but I took these three out because the numbers didn't seem to be adding up. And I put them over here actually, and I have my my little component tester. I'm just gonna take my probe back and put it back in here, and let me show you guys what I've been seeing on the component tester. I'm gonna go ahead and put the three transistors that I pulled. I'm gonna put them in the tester, and you're gonna see for yourself what they read. So here we go. We launch the tester. Look at the gain on this guy, 3, as opposed to the 305 or 500, between 300 and 500 that we need. So this guy is bad. And here's the problem with doing a diagnostic like this. Like 90% of the times you can tell if a transistor is bad by measuring the base emitter junction. So this is what we see here, 664 millivolts. That's the drop again between the base and emitter junction. And in this case, it's good. So the diode's not shorted, the transistor is not shorted, but the gain is off by a lot. So that's not good. And I'll show you the other the other two. Take that one out. There was one I remember measuring, was a bit better than the other two, but still was not up to par. So put that in. Again, 3. And the base emitter junction is not shorted. It's reading about 681 millivolts. But again, the gain is off. It's not good. This will not work in the, especially in the amplifier. Pre-amplifier, I should say. And then we'll take the last one. Put it in. Hit the test button. 93.5. So this one's a bit better, but it's still off. Again, the base emitter junction, 623 millivolts. So this is okay. So let me take out. So these were the 3 that I replaced, and I put in as a substitute this guy. This is the KSC 1845. Oh, trying to get in focus right here. This is the substitute that I put in. KSC 1845. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put it on the tester. And you're going to see for yourself what I was reading as a comparison. Look at that, 355. This is a good transistor. So without knowing if this was new or not, I can tell you right away that this is a good transistor because the gain is correct, the emitter current also is good, and it's not shorted. It's the junction between the base emitter is not shorted. It's reading 629 millivolts. So this is a good transistor. So I ended up replacing all 3 of them. And I only tested these after the fact because I cannot really test this in circuit given the setup that this is. So I pulled them out, put them in the tester, and they were all testing bad. So 1, 2, and 3 had to be replaced. And I'm keeping these measurements as a comparison, but I can assure you now, once those 3 transistors were replaced, all of these measurements that I took are now matching. All these measurements are now matching this channel, the working channel. So I'm no longer getting 3 volts on the collector. I'm getting close to 8. It's still a little bit off, but a lot better than before, and it's a lot closer to the working channel. So now this is all good. I sorted this out. One thing I did do also was I changed this capacitor here, C35. Probably can see it, it's up there, the gold one. this guy right there, gold one. That's a Nikon gold, fine gold cap, 47 microfarads at 25 volts. The ESR reading was good. It was reading about 0.5 or 0.7, I think. And for a 47 microfarad 25 volt cap, it should not be reading more than 1.2. So I was like, it's getting up there. It's still testing good, but during the troubleshooting, I was like, maybe it might be that. I don't know. So I went ahead, changed it, but it didn't do anything, actually. I was still getting the wrong readings and whatnot. So even after changing that cap, it didn't do much. But I did it anyways, so, you know, so just for peace of mind. This is the cap here, the old one, actually. See, they don't appear bulged. That's the thing. They will never usually appear bulged. But when you put it on the ESR meter, you will see that these caps will sometimes show up as bad. So there you go. So even the bottom's good. Yeah, so I replaced it just for safeguard. I mean, the machine is like 40 years old or something, so I'm not surprised. But yeah, basically, this is now working like it should. And what's it called? I'm going to proceed by putting the back, or the bottom, I should say, on, and flipping it back over on its normal side. And we're going to take some captures of the oscilloscope, and you're going to see now what I see between the two channels. All right, so let's go ahead, put everything almost back together, and we'll come back. Okay, so we are back, and what's it called? I'm going to show you quickly just on the oscilloscope. The missing channel that we had before, which was on C39 on this side. So basically this side was defective. And I'm going to show you now, what's it called? I'm going to show you now just what we see. And there you go. This is our 440 hertz. As you can see on the counter, 437.85 or whatever, it's jumping around. But it's our 440 hertz signal. And basically the right channel is now, or sorry, not the right channel, the left channel is working again. So only thing that I'm going to do is, like the last thing that I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and, turn it around, look at the front, and just check everything out to make sure it works, and maybe get you a final, maybe get you guys a final shot of the unit in the front. And we should be good to go. So let's just turn this thing around, and I'll get back to you guys when that's done. Okay, so this is the front of the unit. Maybe you've already seen it before in the very first clip of this video, but I recorded a tape on a song on this tape, and I don't think I'm going to be able to monetize this video if I play it on this video. So I'm going to upload another video at the same time, showcasing this machine playing a song by Phil Collins, feeling it in the, I feel it in the air tonight, or whatever it's called. And so I don't mind if that video is not monetized, but this one I'll keep it monetized if I can, if possible. But in the video that you see that I post right after this one, you're gonna see the front and everything, and it's gonna work like it's supposed to, and the VU meters will go dancing and everything. But I thought I'd show you just the front of this before I close the video off entirely. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I already told the customer that it's repaired, and he seems to be very happy about it. So at that point, this is all the damage we made. This is a new one, not that one, just these three plus this guy right here. So that's all the mess we made, thankfully. So if you guys like this video, please leave a thumbs up. Put a comment down in the bleep bloop section if you want, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss a new video when I upload one. And until then, guys, take care. Bye bye.